Grantham, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the Falcon Fibbers with three of our Trotter members, Kelly Gainey, Reed Milliken, and Dr. Art. And now let's meet the president of the Falcon Fibbers, Nolan Hogenboom.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Josh. It's a pleasure to be here. Again, welcome to the Falcon Fibbers, a game show where you, the contestant, are tasked with determining who of our three Fibbers is actually telling the truth. Now, before we get to the game tonight, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our two contestants who've so kindly joined us this evening. For our first contestant tonight, we have with us Claire Kreiner. Claire,
hi.
What do you do here at Messiah?
I'm an education major here at Messiah.
Good. So you're going to have to deal with a lot of lying students.
Apparently.
Good practice here tonight with these three.
Sounds
and
really good.
Dr. Dixon, how are you tonight?
Just fine.
Glad to have you here. Are you confident in your ability to spot a lie?
Oh, I teach journalism.
You read them every day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about ready to get to the rest of the game. It's time for Falcon Fibbers. Let's briefly explain how the game's going to work. Our Fibbers are going to present an object to our contestants. However, each Fibber will have an entirely unique explanation as to the purpose and function of their object. It will be up to our contestants to decide which of our three Fibbers is the one actually telling the truth. Each of our contestants will start with 15 points. If a contestant guesses who's telling the truth correctly, they will earn 5 points on their score. If they guess incorrectly, they will instead lose 5 points. So there's a lot riding on this, guys. Be careful. Whoever has the most points at the end of the night will win tonight's prize. What is the prize? I'm glad you asked. Let's take a look. Oh, it appears that the prize for tonight's winner will be a framed and signed photo of our very own Josh McLeaf clutching his beloved JVC camera.
Oh, it's so on now.
Now, with that in mind, contestants, are you ready?
You betcha.
All right, let's get to it. Let's turn it over to our panel of Fibbers and take a look at our first item. Kelly, can you tell us what exactly we have here?
Absolutely, I can. Even though this is, as we can see, encased on the bottom, it is actually, when it's used, it's part of a bigger mechanism to help press vinyl records. So you spin the wheel as it's attached to a chain that goes around on a bigger machine. So that brings this press up and down. And then on the inside, the press goes up and down. And so as it's rotating, you constantly keep pressing.
All right, so Kelly tells us it is part of the internal mechanism for pressing vinyl records. Over to Reed Milliken. Reed.
So this little contraption here actually is held this way and is actually one of 4 wheels that can be found on a Eastern European race car that is used a lot to travel on flat, soft surfaces, hence the very skinny wheel. But you'll see the piston inside there, and it acts very similar to a piston in, say, a train engine, where air will be blown into the cylinder and it'll cause the wheel to spin.
So Reed wants us to believe that it's a wheel spinning thing. Dr. Hart, for one last explanation, what is this item?
So Kelly was close. It is part of a mechanical operation, but this is actually a small engine that is operated by heat. The heat rises and pushes the doohickey in the inside here up and down, and as that rises and falls, the wheel then slowly turns here above. So for example, if you placed it over a mug of hot coffee, you could watch this engine work for about 8 hours, as long as the heat from the coffee continues to power the engine. And that is what this device is.
So after all our explanations, Dr. Ark says it is a heat-operated doohickey, Reed says it is a wheel, and Kelly says it is a vinyl pressing mechanism. Contestants, we need you to determine which one of these Fibbers is actually a truther. Claire, who do you believe is telling the truth?
Well, am I allowed to see the mechanism?
Is she allowed to see the mechanism? Judges, can we get a ruling here? We can pass it down to the end of the table. So this is as close as look as you're going to get, Claire. I'm very sorry. I've
And
just
we're
had
not
the
allowed
word
to
from
ask
upstairs.
questions.
No questions allowed. No, I'm sorry. You have to take your best guess based on the explanations given to you already.
I am going to go with Kelly.
So Claire says that Kelly is telling the truth. Dr. Dixon, what say you?
I would love to try that on my coffee mug. So as much as it pains me, I'm going to go with Dr. Ark.
And Dr. Dixon goes with his fellow professor, Dr. Ark. Our contestants have placed their bets. Claire with Kelly, Dr. Dixon with Dr. Ark. Let's find out which of these was actually telling the truth. Josh McLeaf, what is this item?
Thank you for asking, Nolan. This contraption comes to us from the P.J. Rydell, located in Boyertown, Pennsylvania, and is a Stirling engine.
A Stirling engine. Which one of you was telling the truth? It was, in fact, Dr. Ark. A heat-operated doohickey indeed. So now let's take a look at the scoreboard to see where we stand after our first object. 10 points for Claire, 20 points for Dr. Dixon. Things are heating up. Aha! We're going to take a break, but don't go anywhere. We're going to have another mystery item coming up next. Welcome back to the Falcon Fibbers. Glad you could join us. I'm your president of the Fibbers Club, Nolan Hogenboom. So far after the first item, it's Dr. Dixon ahead by a score of 20-10. Now it's time for us to take a look at our second item of the night. Kelly, what do you have for us this time?
Absolutely. Well, I'm actually really familiar with this item. Being a goalie back in my prime for field hockey, it is a kind of hand guard in a way, so like your wrist doesn't get hurt by the hard hockey ball, and then your stick goes through the little hole where your hand is.
All right, so Kelly says it's a goalie blocker for field hockey. Reed.
This is in fact for someone to put over their knee to attach a prosthetic leg. So someone, an amputee who is missing the area of their leg below the knee, can attach this on and fasten it to their thigh, and then this is where the fake leg would peer through.
Reed says it's part of a prosthetic leg. Dr. Ark.
So I haven't steered you wrong yet tonight, but this is actually a bed for hamsters. So you would place it in the cage, fill it with a soft bedding material, and then your pet hamster could just curl up here in the corner and stay nice, warm, cozy, and get a good night's sleep.
And Dr. Ark says it is a bed for hamsters. Just as a reminder, Reed said it was part of a prosthetic leg, and Kelly that it is a field hockey goalie blocker. So, contestants, you've heard all three. Who is telling the truth? Claire, we'll start with you.
Well, I have a question for Dr. Ark. Would it also work for hamsters? Well, like you said hamsters,
Absolutely.
but also like guinea pigs,
Guinea pigs,
rabbits.
small rabbits, certainly, yeah. I mean, it's
Okay.
even, you know, sort of decorated inside here to add a little bit of flair to your pet's cage.
Oh. Well, with that, I'm going to have to go with Kelly.
All right. And Claire has sided with Kelly that this is a goalie blocker. Dr. Dixon, who's telling the truth?
I'm hoping Reed is telling the truth on this one.
Dr. Dixon is hoping against hope that Reed is telling the truth. Our contestants have placed their bets, Claire with Kelly and Dr. Dixon with Reed. Josh, what is this object?
It was from Falcon Fibbers' very own Amy Sachs of Virginia, and her item is a field hockey goalie's mitt.
Who would have thought? Kelly was in fact telling the truth. It is a field hockey goalie's mitt, which means that our scores have changed, and I'm sorry, Dr. Dixon, you no longer have the lead. We are now tied at 15, neck and neck. Got a real barn burner. It's going to be great. We'll be back with another object in a few moments. Stay tuned to Falcon Fibbers. And welcome back to the Falcon Fibbers. We have had some elaborate and semi-convincing explanations of our previous two mystery objects tonight. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. Oh, look at that. We are in fact tied. Dr. Dixon and Claire Krein are tied at 15. Like I said, neck and neck, a real barn burner, must-see TV. It is now time for our final contest of the night. But contestants, we are going to switch things up. Previously, you had to guess what the object was, but this time each of our fibbers is going to explain this painting, which it very obviously is. They can't lie to you about that. And the artist. It will be up to the contestants as usual to decide who's telling the truth about the artist and the nature of the painting. Kelly, describe this painting and tell us who's the creator.
Absolutely. As a historian, it is part of my job to take artifacts and then analyze them and then tell people about what the history and how they were made. So this is perfect for me, actually. So this is a painting, and it is known as Flowers in a Milk Pot. As you can see, there is a milk can holding flowers in front of a beautiful blue barn door outside on maybe somebody's patio and such. Now, the type of medium of this painting is acrylic, and you can tell that by not only the color choices, but also the brush strokes in the painting. And so this, when using acrylic, it's not common as like a Monet. They would use more oil paintings. This is a much more modern painting, and so the artist of this painting is none other than EJ's mother.
That would be E.J. Insco, our broadcast engineer
Yes.
here on Falcon Fibbers, for those of you keeping track at home. Kelly tells us it is a painting of flowers in a milk jug by E.J. Insco's mother. Reed, what do you say?
So, National Treasure, released in 2004, follows the character Ben Gates, played by Nicolas Cage,
Sure does.
as he goes to steal the Declaration of Independence and try to discover a map that was hidden on the back of it. Well, this is the very painting that the Declaration of Independence was hidden in, as you can see by the torn back there. And this was actually a collaborative piece by the Founding Fathers. It was done in ceremony of the Declaration of Independence being written. I am not a history major, much like Kelly, but I do like National Treasure, so I think that gives me enough authority to speak on this item. It's a very beautiful piece, as Kelly said. It's a vase with some flowers and a blue door. I think the symbolism is lost on me as to where this, as to where the Founding Fathers were trying to take this lovely painting. But I think the most important and most historically significant aspect of this painting is what's missing from the back. Again, I'm going to draw the attention to the torn backing here. The Declaration of Independence once sat inside of this canvas. It is again no longer there because Ben Gates, played by Nicolas Cage in the documentary National Treasure, stole the Declaration of Independence from the back of it.
Reed, I've long held that National Treasure is the perfect movie to have on in the background.
Yeah.
Like at Thanksgiving or something, you got the whole family over. Kids will be interested. The adults saw it and loved it, so everybody can just kind of sit around and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it is a true story.
It is. Yeah. I'm more of a more of a Book of Secrets fan. The sequel, National Treasure 2: The Book
Sure.
of Secrets. I think I like the sequel a little more. And I'm still holding out hope for that third one.
It'll
Still
get here
crossing my
sometime.
fingers. Still
With
refreshing
Nick Cage
the
back on the
Yahoo
map
page.
with his new movie, then.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
it could
yes.
happen. It could happen.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what shenanigans he's been up to, 'cause
At any
it is,
rate-
again, real life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A still life, if you will.
Correct.
Reed Milliken would have us believe that this is a true American institution from the Founding Fathers of America. Now, finally, Dr. Ark.
Thank you, Nolan. So, longtime viewers of this program may remember that prior to taking this role as a fibber here, I was an auctioneer on the Great TV Auction on Channel 33, a fundraiser for public television, where we actually did auction off art. So, in that way, I'm a bit of an expert as well. This, however, is a Messiah University treasure because this painting was actually painted by one Stephen Gallagher, who is a Christian ministries professor here at Messiah, and it is called A Good Day on My Farm. So you can see the Gallagher family barn in the background there with the flowers grown on the farm displayed here in the foreground. I would agree with Kelly. You can see by the brush strokes that this is acrylic and well framed to draw the blue of the barn door here. But people here at Messiah don't realize that Stephen Gallagher is also very talented with a paintbrush, and this is one of his many works of art. So Stephen Gallagher is the artist, and A Good Day on the Farm is the name of the painting.
A good day indeed. Dr. Ark would have us believe that it is by Professor Stephen Gallagher. Reed, that it's from the Founding Fathers, and Kelly, that is by E.J. Insco's mother. Contestants, it is now up to you to determine which one of our fibbers is actually telling the truth. Remember that the scores are tied. No pressure here. This will decide the winner. So, without further ado, Claire.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Reed, I think I missed the name of the painting that you said.
It's called Flower.
Flower like petals, or like flour like you make bread?
It's up for interpretation.
Okay.
Like any good.
Founding Fathers left many things up for interpretation.
Yeah, I feel like I'm seeing George Washington's like wig hair in there.
It's up for interpretation.
So Dr. Ark, given your art history background,
Yes.
would you describe this style as more impressionist, paint by numbers, pointillism?
It's just an opportunity for Stephen to show his creative side. Not paint by number, but you can tell down here in the vase or vase. Not only did he use brush strokes, but also paint knife strokes as well to kind of give it this texture along this part of the vase.
It's up for
Container.
interpretation.
I think we all agree that it is a beautiful painting.
Did we agree that? Did we agree with that?
It's up for interpretation.
At any rate, contestants, it is now up to you to determine which of our three fibbers is actually telling the truth. Claire, we'll start with you.
Well, I've been going with Kelly all night, so maybe it's about time I change it up.
Sure.
And Dr. Ark, I think I'm going to go with you.
So Claire believes that it is in fact a painting by Messiah Professor Stephen Gallagher, siding with Dr. Ark. Dr. Dixon, who do you say is telling the truth?
I'm going to go with Kelly this time. I
And
think it's EJ's mom.
Dr. Dixon back with Kelly and E.J. Insco's mother. Our contestants have placed their bets, and now it is time to determine who, in fact, was telling the truth. Josh, one last time, what's the deal with this beautiful painting?
This item comes to us from E.J. Inscho from right here in Grantham, Pennsylvania. While he may not have painted this fine piece of art himself, he certainly knows the one who did. The artist is E.J.'s very own mother.
So it turns out that Kelly was telling the truth after all, for the second time tonight. This painting was in fact painted by E.J.'s own mother. It is a beautiful painting.
I probably shouldn't have roasted EJ's mother.
I'm seeing some of the Gallagher style in there too, though. It really is. I think those were all very plausible explanations. So tonight, as our time here comes to a close, it's time to check the scores for one final time. We now have Claire with 10 points and Dr. Dixon with 20. He's come back to a surging lead, and Dr. Dixon will be going home the leader. 20 points to 10 points for Dr. Dixon, meaning that he will be walking out of here with a one-of-a-kind signed image of our very own Josh McLeaf. Ladies and gentlemen. Just a moment, I'll be back with your prize.
Sticker and everything.
For you, sir.
That is so going on the wall of my office.
Signed and framed of our very own Josh McLeaf. It's been another lovely edition of the Falcon Fibbers tonight. Thank you all for joining us. As president of the Falcon Fibbers, I, Nolan Hogenboom, declare this meeting adjourned. Have a great night, everybody.